Hello, I am PrincyBhat, PGT English, KV1 Halwara. Today I am going to take up Poets and Pancakes from class 12th Flamingo. This lesson is an extract from Ashok Mithara's book, My Years with Boss. He talks about his days at Gemini Studios, which was set up in 1940 in Madras, modern-day Chennai, by S.S. Vasan. He describes each and every element that kept the Gemini Studios running over there. He was given the task of collecting the newspaper clippings on varied subjects and storing them in a file. So he was well informed about everything in that family. And he describes each and every element of the Gemini Studios in a beautiful way. So to begin with, a word pancakes. That was the brand name for makeup material, which was ordered by Gemini Studios in truckloads. Reason, a film studio, and this material was required for makeup of artists. He even describes some artists, some actors, such as Miss Gohar and Baijanti Mala, who must have used this makeup material. After that, he beautifully describes the makeup department. Makeup room that was housed in the upstairs of a building that was believed to be Robert Clive's stable. And that room, makeup room, looked like a hair-cutting saloon with incandescent lamps at all angles with half a dozen mirrors. So just imagine the fiery misery of the people, of the artists who were subjected to the makeup over there. After that, he gives a beautiful description of the makeup room, of the arrangement over there. He writes that makeup department was the symbol of national integration, since it was headed by different people from different parts of the country over years. And then another thing, that was maintenance of hierarchy in the department. The topmost artist, the topmost makeup man would do the makeup of lead hero and heroine. His assistant would go for second number hero or heroine. And at the bottom was office boy, who would do the makeup of crowd players. So now to recapitulate the things. Pancakes, brand name for makeup material. Makeup department, it was just like fiery misery. It was symbol of national integration, and a proper hierarchy was maintained over there. Now there is the mention of this office boy. Who was this office boy? Though the name is boy, but he was not a boy. He was a man in 40s who had joined Gemini Studios with an aim and goal of becoming an actor or writer or something else. But what happened to him? He had to be confined with the job of doing makeup of crowd players. So he was a frustrated lot, and he would vent out his anger at successful people like Subbu, or sometimes even the author. And now talking about Subbu. He was number 2 at Gemini Studios. He was always cheerful. He was an amazing actor. He could be inspired on command. He was very close to the boss, S.S. Vasan. He was a man with golden heart, a charitable person. And office boy, he always pointed his anger towards him because he considered him responsible for his plight. He was, this Subbu, he was a novelist as well as poet. After this, the author comes to another department, that is story writing department. As the name suggests, it was an assembly of poets, writers, and amazingly a lawyer who was officially a legal advisor. But he has been presented as a man of cold logic. All poets, writers, they used to wear khadi, and this man always wore pants, coat and tie. Since he was in story writing department, once he was given permission to produce a film, and he produced it, but it was a flop, and it was for the first time, as per the author, that the story writing department was closed due to a lawyer. Due to a lawyer, the poets and the writers lost their jobs. It was something unimaginable. So again, coming to the recapitulation, I will show you again this thing. So describing the different departments over there. We discussed it, makeup department. Then coming to story department. It was an assembly of poets and writers and a lawyer. All poets, writers, they used to wear khadi, but this man, the lawyer, he used to wear pants, coat and tie. He was a man of cold logic. So after this, the author describes the political affiliation of people there. Poets and writers, they all wore khadi, they worshipped Gandhiji. Otherwise, they didn't have any political affiliation, but they were averse to communism. They believed that communist is a godless man. A communist had no love for anyone, and they could create violence and havoc in the society. In the meantime, MRA, Moral Rearmament Army, visited the Gemini studio in 1952. It was a strong group of 200 people from 20 nationalities, and they got a warm welcome here in the Gemini studio, which was a family of 600 people. These people were not very good at trapeze, but they presented plays in the most professional way. The name of the plays, Jotham Valley and the Forgotten Factor. But the author could not know the purpose, and after years, he could realize that it was a sort of counter movement to communism. Then after some time, again the Gemini studio was bustling with, we can say, joy, because they were to welcome some other person, and the person was someone from England, Englishman. Whether he was a poet, a writer, editor, nobody knew. So that man came. He was given a rousing welcome. The boss spoke at length about him, and the speech was sprinkled with words like democracy and freedom. Thereafter, that Englishman also spoke, but nobody could understand what he spoke due to his accent. So his visit also remained a mystery for years to come. Then, after many years, when the author left the job at the Gemini studio, one day he came across a book. He wanted to purchase that book. He went for the book and he got that book. The name of the book was The God That Failed. The God That Failed, he got that book. And it was the collection of 6 essays by 6 eminent writers. And actually it was their disillusion with communism. And when he went through the names of the authors, one of the authors was Stephen Spender, the man, the person who had visited the Gemini studio once. And now the mystery was not a mystery. He realized that he had come to Gemini studio to counter communism. So that is all from this chapter. Just to revise the things, just to recapitulate, I'll show you the board again. So again the recapitulation about the political affiliation of the people over there. They had no political affiliation, but they were averse to communism. Then the author describes the visits of few groups and the poet. The first one, MRA, Moral Rearmament Army, in 1952, which was a group of 200 people from 20 nationalities. They presented plays Jotham Valley and The Forgotten Factor. And then another person, Stephen Spender, who visited the Gemini studio, but his visit remained a mystery for many years. And it was solved only when, after many years, the author got a book named The God That Failed, which was the description of the writers about the disillusionment in communism. And one of the authors was Stephen Spender. Then only he could know why that person had come to the Gemini studio. So this is the story. Now you can go through the lesson and understand again. That's all. Thank you.